A great crowd had gathered, and they had nothing to eat. So Jesus called his disciples to him and said to them, "I feel sorry for all these people. They have been with me for 3 days now and have nothing to eat. If I send them off home hungry, they will collapse on the way. Some have come a great distance." His disciples replied, Where could anyone get bread to feed these people in a desert place like this?" He asked them, "How many loaves have you?" 7, they said. Then he instructed the crowd to sit down on the ground, and he took the 7 loaves, and after giving thanks, he broke them and handed them to his disciples to distribute. And they distributed them among the crowd. They had a few small fish as well, and over this he said a blessing and ordered them to be distributed also. They ate as much as they wanted, and they collected 7 baskets full of the scraps left over. Now there had been about 4,000 people. He sent them away, and immediately, getting into the boat with his disciples, went to the region of Dalmanutha. This is the gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
My brothers and sisters, I'd like first of all to say that for few of you it was a big surprise, because today, as we can see, there is a bigger crowd first of all, but also a couple is celebrating the beautiful number of 50 years old of their wedding. Usually we don't have such celebrations in our church, but it doesn't mean that it's not allowed to. The sacraments, excepting the confession and the confession and the Eucharist, usually takes place in the parish church. But what we do today, it's not a celebration of their wedding, but a renewal of their wedding vows. So we are here with them, celebrating and willing to thank God for this beautiful gift of their family. As we can see today in the Gospel, Jesus was feeding people, a big number, a huge number, I could say, from only a few bread and few fish. When we start a new beginning, we are always wondering what's going to happen. Life seems sometimes so difficult. Life sometimes seems to be so surprising as well. And we have like a bit of lack of courage to look at it in a very positive way and very hopeful way. But when we walk with God, things are changing. So when people get married, nowadays I could say it's an act of courage. Many people don't have it because we live in a strange culture. But there are still people who accept the challenge and take the responsibility. To celebrate 50 years of wedding anniversary, it's really something so beautiful. 50, not 5. It's 50. We cannot count it. To get to 50, you have to probably count for 3 minutes. But it's 50, it's for real. It's not a joke or a fairy tale. It's 50 years of wedding anniversary, which shows that during this time many people came to life, many graces were poured, many times were spent in difficulties, also many graces and forgiveness was offered. Life, from you can testify it, it's a challenge. Sometimes with good times, some other times with difficult times. And to celebrate it after 50 years coming together is such a nice thing. We have to thank God for all this time. And each time we celebrate a wedding anniversary, we don't really celebrate only with those people. We celebrate with the whole community of our church, because we are a bigger family. And when a couple is doing well, the church itself is doing well, because faith seems to be alive. We get hope. Family brings faith. Family brings hope. Family brings courage. So today we celebrate their 50th anniversary, and we thank God for all the graces and for everything. We learn something though with the youth, that something like a wedding, like a marriage, is to not be allowed to pass with struggles. We learn that life needs to be enjoyed to the full, but in commitment, with responsibility. All these are gifts from God, and we have to learn from you people who probably have 15 years in your marriage, probably 20, probably 30, probably 40, or probably only 5 or 2 or 3. Altogether, being married shows that God is in your heart. We all learn from your experience, and we'll all learn how to cope with challenges in the future. I don't know about you, but when I look to my parents always, I see in them something that some people who really had love in their mind and heart. When they look at them and talk to them, I always have a sense of reverence, because they are the ones who wanted me and wanted my brother and sisters. They are the ones who provided for us. They are the ones who accepted the challenge. They are the ones who committed in front of God to live their life in helping each other and strengthening each other. This is really something that only I could see in them, because they were the closest people in my life. Now think to your parents, how many other things you can see in them. How many things have you learned from them? There is only one thing, 2 things or more. I'm sure there are more than 3. All the time, our parents bring blessings to our life. So thank the Lord for them. And if they are not alive, pray for them. Offer them masses. Give alms. Help them in the way you can right now, because they probably are in need. And if they are alive, honor them. They deserve it. Learn from them as well. Doesn't matter if you are 60 and your mother is 90. She's still your mother and with more experience. It doesn't matter if your mother is probably only 30. and you are only, let's say, 15 or only 10. Your mother is given by God, and you are a gift. Today, we focus on the 50th anniversary, but it's a point of meditation for us, the whole church, as I said, because we really focus on the church itself. We are all a family, and we all learn from this gift that God has given to us, the sacrament of marriage. Helen and Ed. Today we celebrate the Our Lady of Lourdes. It's a beautiful feast. In the apparition that took place in front of those 3 girls in France, Our Lady advised them to build a church, a chapel, but all the time to pray. So you as a family are the small church, and this church needs to be strengthened by prayer. Pray the Rosary, because this is the prayer that Our Lady always advises. Pray the Rosary. That keeps you strong and united. The Rosary is the prayer that really helps you to forgive the failures of the other spouse. There are many graces offered, but also such a comfort and such a strength when we pray the Rosary. So on today's occasion, we have to thank the Lord for all His graces, to congratulate the 50th anniversary couple, to learn from them, and also to accept the challenge that may arise in life.